Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Enemy. And this movie came out in 2013, technically, even though for some people it was 2014, and most people consider it a 2014 film. But according to IMDb, it's 2013, and that's what I'm going by. Sorry if that upsets some people, but that's how I'm choosing to acknowledge this film as what year it's in. So just to get that out of the way. And I have seen this movie before. And it was a while ago, and I didn't really remember too much about it, other than a couple parts in the end. And this movie is directed by Denis Villeneuve, the same director as, and I'm going to quickly go through these really quickly, because I'm a big fan of his movies. Prisoners. Sicario. Arrival. Blade Runner 2049. Dune, and Dune Part 2. And he's also made some other movies that I haven't seen yet, like Incendies, that I haven't seen yet. But anyways, getting a little off track. I think he's a great director. He's one of my favorites, and I really enjoyed a lot of his movies. Like Dune Part 1 and 2 are really good, and Sicario is solid, and I really enjoyed Arrival. But my favorites from him are definitely Prisoners and Blade Runner 2049. And after rewatching this, I would put this movie up there as well as one of my favorites, for sure. And I really love how this movie is shot and the look of the movie. I think it adds to the film a lot without giving much away. And the music really stood out to me, and it complemented the film in ways that was memorable and also was a bit different from what I'm used to, and that's why it stood out, not in a negative way, because when something is different, you can easily say, like, yeah, that's kind of distracting, and I don't like seeing that, but in this movie, that was not the case for me at all, and I thought it was a great choice. And there's one specific idea in this movie that really stood out to me as, memorable, and I wanted to specifically remember that, and it was kind of talking about how history repeats itself and ideas being repeated, and that's something that really stood out to me this time while watching it, because on my first viewing, that kind of just flew over my head, I think, because I didn't really remember that element of the film at all. But here it really stood out because of the ideas that I was kind of getting at, and by the end of the film, things being repeated does play into the film. And I'm not going to say how, because I don't want to spoil anything, because this is a film that you can spoil. And also, one other thing to note about this movie is that this is not a film that is for everyone. I do feel as though this is probably Denis Villeneuve's most divisive movie, in a sense that, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it, and it is going to ask you to think about it. There's a lot to process from this movie, and it's very different from his other movies. But I don't feel as though that dragged the movie down at all for me. And you're pretty much going to have to come up with your own interpretations of this movie. Otherwise, you're just not going to get much out of it. It's kind of like Eraserhead in that sense, where you just have to interpret a lot of what's going on, and the most basic levels that are on the surface level, you'll probably enjoy just upon a first viewing, but if you watch it multiple times, you'll start to dig deeper and deeper and deeper, and you'll get more out of it, and there's more to discover. And that's ultimately what I love about this movie, is that there's multiple directions you can go from this movie and just take away from it. And that, I think, just benefits it so much, and it makes it such a great movie to rewatch. And it's a 90-minute film, so it's also easy to rewatch because it's so short. I was never once bored by anything in this movie. I thought Jake Gyllenhaal did a great job in this movie. And he plays two different characters in this film, and he plays both characters very differently. And you can tell the differences between these two performances and these two characters, just how he performs it. And in certain scenes where those two characters are on screen together and sharing screen time together, you can tell how different they are, and it adds so much. They look alike, but their mannerisms and how they look at themselves and how they treat other people, nothing alike. And everyone else was great in it too, and the side characters added a lot to the film, and without them, I think there would be a lot missing from this film. And every choice in this movie adds to the story and the characters, and everything that I'm looking for in a movie is just found in this movie. And also when the two characters that Jake Gyllenhaal plays, Adam and Anthony, I just remember their names. I don't know how they managed to pull it off, but it feels seamless, like those are two characters on screen together. Props to the film and how that was pulled off. And that's about all I have to say about Enemy. There are directions that it'll take that might seem a bit off to some people, but ultimately I feel as though there's a purpose to these things, and I just got a lot out of this movie. And even though I didn't really take a lot of notes about halfway through, is where I stopped taking notes because I was just letting myself get absorbed into the film, and that's ultimately why I kind of stopped taking notes in the second half of the movie, is because I was just so into it and I wanted more. And when the movie was over, I was like, I would like to watch that again. And also, an A24 film. And I'm probably going to mention that every time I watch a film that's distributed by A24, because I would like it to be known that the films that they distribute are ones that I normally really love. And like I said in my review for The Brutalist, a lot of movies that I love are films that are distributed by A24. So I would highly recommend that you check this movie out, but I wouldn't recommend starting with this movie if you've never seen a Denis Villeneuve film. Just pretty much any of the ones that I mentioned earlier in this video. If you haven't seen any of those, watch those, and once you've seen enough, then come to this movie and check it out. That would be my recommendation, but I have a feeling that a lot of you have seen a few of his movies by now. Some of his movies have been nominated for Best Picture, so they have plenty of attention, and Prisoners is getting more and more attention over time, I feel, and I'm kind of just rambling now, so I don't really have anything else to say about Enemy. I loved it, and I'll watch it again at some point, so check this movie out whenever you get the chance, and with all that being said, I'm going to give Enemy a 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below your thought of Enemy, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Mars Attacks. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.